This is Bob Beckel.
This is Cal Thomas, a conservative who is pro-life,
A liberal who once worked for Jimmy Carter.
who favors smaller government,
Who believes in big government.
and in a town full of cheap shot artists, I've never heard Cal take a cheap shot.
But even when he's wrong, he's likable. And this is Common Ground.
And this is Common Ground.
Welcome again to Common Ground, a video version of Bob Beckel's and my bi-weekly USA Today column in which we try to figure out how to bridge Washington's partisan divide. Today, the Massachusetts miracle. Scott Brown winning, well, what some call Ted Kennedy's seat, but which Mr. Brown, the senator-elect, properly called the people's seat. What do you think about that, Bob? Happy days are here again.
Well, one person's miracle is another person's nightmare. First of all, let me just say that I would normally try to spin this, but this is spinless. I mean, you can't change the reality. This was a big upset. However, having said that, if you look at the votes in Massachusetts, there are only a couple 100,000 registered Republicans. They didn't elect Brown. Who elected Brown were independents that make up 50% of the electorate there, who voted for Obama in 2008. So, ironically, it's the Obama voters who put Brown into office.
Yeah, that's quite true, Bob, and that's excellent analysis as always. Yes, but what I thought really drove this election, and what I think is driving a lot of the momentum from the conservative side and many independents, is the fed-upness level in this country. We've talked about this before in our column, that you get very little time now in the election cycles to prove that you mean what you say. People are sick of the overspending. They're sick of the lack of accountability. They're sick of these politicians promising one thing and going to Washington and becoming part of the wallpaper. I think that's what the real message in Massachusetts was, don't you?
Not necessarily. Look, I think Obama was such a good candidate that expectations for him got so high
That's true.
that no politician could meet those expectations, but the people expected more than they got. In terms of what he campaigned on, he's done what he said he campaigned on. He put health care there, and he said he was going to go into health care. Now, people didn't like the health care bill. I don't think it's necessarily dead yet. But look, expectations can kill you in politics, or they can put you over the top. In this case, it's been a negative for him.
Well, I think one of the real problems for the president is that he didn't tap down those expectation levels sufficiently during the campaign, allowing people to really believe that he was messianic. But let me tell you what I'm really glad to hear about, and we just got this notice literally as we record this a few hours ago. Washington Post reporting that the Republican leadership, which is having a retreat this weekend, led by Mike Pence, the number 3 guy in the House of Representatives, have invited the president to speak to their conference, and the president's accepted. I think that's got a lot of potential. Do you, or is it just more cover for your own position?
Well, the Republicans are going on a retreat?
Yes.
The good news would be if they didn't come back. Look, I'm glad to see Obama's doing that. I think he probably wants to make a point before the State of the Union and all that, which by the time everybody sees this, we've had a State of the Union. But look, the reality is that it's been the Republicans that have put the roadblock in the way of Obama at every turn. I mean, he said he wanted to have bipartisanship. He tried at the beginning. The Republicans gave him no votes on anything. And so, I mean, I give him credit for going and seeing these guys, but who's he? I hope he's not kidding himself. The Republicans aren't going to do anything to help Barack Obama. They want to be sure he gets nothing done between now and the midterm elections.
I don't think that's true. Mike Pence has said that working with the president and the fall elections are not contradictory. There are a number of things that you and I agree on in this health care bill. Portability, no pre-existing condition, the ability to pick up your insurance if you go from one job to another, one state to another. There are a lot of good things in this bill, but the problem with it is that there is too much that is bad in the bill. That's what Republicans have been against, and I think on this retreat, if the president's smart, he will say, okay, I'm going to take some of your concerns and we're going to incorporate them, and I'm going to eliminate some of your concerns. Now, you step up to the plate, you Republicans, and you agree with me on this.
I don't want to sort of dampen down your parade here, pal, and I know that you really care about this stuff, but if you think the Republicans want any health care bill this year, I don't care how slimmed down it is, then I can only say that we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. And this is the problem. I mean, look, it happens to both sides. When they get elected, it doesn't take very long before partisanship comes in and they start playing for the next election.
Like Social Security.
Well, that's right. That's correct. But the Republicans now are smelling big gains in the House and the Senate. And so they're not going to do anything to give Obama and the Democrats a break. And that's the problem. Look, one of the big things we've got going on here is deficit spending. right? Deficit spending, the deficit now is I think just announced $1.3 trillion. That's a lot of money. And Obama has said he wants to have a cut of something that will equal about $250 billion over 3 years. Now, the Republicans poo-pooed that and said, oh, that's not much money, but at least it's a start.
You know, Bob, I think it's not just a start, that's pocket change. But here's I think that you and I ought to go speak at the Republican retreat and with the president there, and we'd show him how to find common ground.
Well, I can tell you this, if I went to speak in front of the Republicans, it would be, I'm not sure I'd get out of there. I'd need air support. But look, one thing Obama did do, and you said you liked it, was the idea of coming up with a commission on the deficit.
Yes.
Where the Democrats and Republicans, equally divided, would meet, make a recommendation to Congress after the elections that would be either voted up or voted down. You'd agree with that, right?
I do indeed.
Okay, good. We got common ground. Hey, check out our column in the paper and on USA Today's opinion blog at usatoday.com. Thanks for tuning in, and come back again for the next installment of Common Ground.